Let's just see.
And you just go, eh?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, it's exciting, man. My first day in showbiz, my first IMDb credit.
Who you gonna get as your talent manager?
Yo, maybe Rich Paul.
Rich Paul and Adele are a thing.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, yo.
He stole Skeppy's girl.
He stole because Rich Paul doesn't take anything else. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Auto 101. You can see today I'm not actually driving. I'm in the passenger seat, and that's because I'm with my boy. What do you want to be referred to? Like if you had a YouTube name.
If I had a YouTube name?
I'm here with a noob, and we're in his 2020 Mazda 3, the GT hatchback, gray on the outside, red on the inside. So my friend Anoop here, he bought this car a couple months ago, maybe around 6 months. So now that we're about halfway through the year in terms of ownership, I thought I'd sit down with him today and kind of get a perspective of what he feels about the car and what his thoughts have been over the last 6 months of usage. All right, man, so first question, 6 months you've owned this car. 6 months ago, if you can go in the past, why did you pick this particular car? What factors drew you to it?
Yeah, it's actually 6 months on the dot today. I was due to go to my first service today, but you know, I chose to...
Crazy, man.
Chose my priorities straight, I feel like. You know, got to do this review first.
Too much respect.
A couple years ago, there was a point in time where I was renting cars often. And one day, they just gave me a Mazda 3 hatchback. I think that was like a 2018 model. And I honestly just loved how it drove and how it felt nicer to drive, and I loved kind of, honestly, what sucked me in was that they had that little HUD there, the heads up display, where it showed you the speed and the speed limit and stuff like that. I'd never seen that in a car before. Might not be like a good reason to like hinge on getting like the car you're gonna drive for the next 10 years.
It's not a common feature in this particular class of car, so it's a good like value add for sure. Yeah, compared to the competition, definitely. So
you like, okay, I gotta seriously consider this car if I'm gonna, or if and when I'm actually gonna get my own car.
It's good that you got a chance to rent it, because Mazdas aren't typically, like you said, super common. So it was meant to be, man. Shout out to whatever, actually Mazda needs to give a shout out to whatever rental car company hooked you up with the
National Car Rental and the Auto.
Mazda, if you're listening, you gotta give your kudos to National Car Rental. So yeah, so you mentioned you looked at some of the competition when you decided on this car. So what about this particular car stood out?
So, I mean, I was looking at the top trim level. I knew that I would whatever car I was gonna get, I would be driving for a while. So I figured it would just be worth it to get kind of the souped up version of whichever car. Kind of loved the speakers in this. The sound sounded great. The seats in this car is like, just feels a lot better than any of the other cars as well. And I also really wanted a hatchback version.
A little bit more practicality.
Yeah, exactly. And it just looked cooler in my opinion.
Fair.
I'd say like those are really what kind of drew me in feature wise.
What's crazy about the GT is that it's a compact mainstream car, but the interior is covered in real genuine leather, which isn't common at all in cars that are much beyond this price point. So the seats are leather, the dashboard is leather, and it's just nice. It feels nicer to drive around on a daily basis. And it also has a terrific Bose sound system, which was again not a common feature in this class of car. So 6 months of ownership now, I'm sure you've had time to digest and reflect on things that you enjoy or like about the car, maybe things that you wish you could change. So if we start with things that you like or enjoy, what would you say are like maybe the key 3 to 5 things that are your top standouts that you've noticed over time that maybe you didn't think of initially?
Things that I like so far. So this is the first car I've owned with any kind of like the driving technology.
Oh yeah, the driver assist stuff.
Yeah, it's very elaborate, and they work really well. I guess one thing I'm probably going to talk about later is like there's kind of a larger blind spot in this car that you wouldn't expect to see in a car this size.
Yeah.
But the sensing really does make up for that blind spot, and
true,
you tend to rely on it a little bit more, and that might not be a good thing. But I like that it works really well. I don't know how I'm gonna reverse park without without a camera.
Man, that's a game changer when it comes to driving comfort. What do you think about the infotainment?
Yeah, so I mean, again, first time I've had a car that has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto like enabled. Like I'm not compelled to always plug in my phone if I'm doing a short drive, because the stock infotainment feels pretty good. It's a very simple kind of menu system, and they give you the dial to operate it.
So some cars these days, actually most cars, just have the touchscreen, and they've gone away from the dial. So do you find it more convenient to have the dial? Because I personally like the dial more, because you don't have to like take your hand away from your driving position and go all the way up to the screen. So what are your thoughts on that?
I wish that they gave us the option of either. There are times when it's just not convenient to use the scroll wheel, and usually you'll notice it like when you're using Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, because those feel like they're meant for touchscreens. And when you're using the dial, like it just takes too long to do stuff. Okay, sweet.
Anything else that you've liked over the last 6 months?
I just like how it's designed. It just looks great.
This car looks sick. Inside and out. They've done a really good job of making it, in my opinion, look super clean, or restrained. That's the word. Keeping it restrained when it comes to styling, but it still looks aggressive and it doesn't look old school. So I think they've done a good job of that inside and out, like you said.
And with other cars, like there's just so many buttons and options and clunky stuff that like I don't even know how to use them half the time.
Okay.
Like at least here, you know, there's not a lot of there's just not a lot here. There, you just have what you need. Like I have my climate control and I have my infotainment control. So
then you wanted to mention, you know, things that you want to change. So we could jump into that now.
Yeah.
Of what you've noticed that you wanted to change, or things that could be improved by Mazda.
Yeah. The big thing for this car, which I don't even know how you would change it, because it's essentially like the two pillars to the back.
Yeah, those chunky C-pillars in the back, right by the hatch.
Yeah, they're huge. They get in the way. Like there are times where like I'm just not sure whether it's safe to go, and I mean nothing bad's happened, and I'm sure nothing bad will. But that's something I would change. But it does contribute to how great the car looks. That's
what I was gonna say. It makes it look more unique from the outside.
Yeah,
because you don't have that extra rear window that some of the other hatchbacks do. So touching on the C-pillar point, the good thing about that is that if anyone's considering the sedan, that's not really a problem, because the styling of it is so different that it has a completely different rear end, where that's not as much of a problem as it is in this. But the hatchback definitely is a more striking looking car.
Like the sensing doesn't always work like you would expect it to.
Oh really?
There are times when it may think that there's something in your blind spot, and that it usually might just be someone passing on like 2 lanes to your right, not directly next to you. It usually happens just to show my signal at the same time that I am actually turning. Like that's when it like,
triggers that.
Yeah, it gets a little messed up. But I've never been in a situation where there is actually something in my blind spot and it doesn't sense it.
So it just leans to be a bit more like conservative or overly safe.
Yeah.
To make sure you're not gonna mess anything up.
I'd rather have it that way than the opposite.
Okay, anything else you'd like to change or you'd like to see improved?
Maybe I'll just talk about the infotainment thing again. Like I really do wish that they had the option of touchscreen.
Okay.
But that would probably affect the design of the car, because the way the screen is right now, like it doesn't make sense for me to reach as far as I need to here.
Yeah, it's a little too far back.
Yeah, but so again, like I don't know how that would actually affect the look and feel of the car, and it might end up, you know, ruining it. So I'll leave it up to them to decide.
So you got the GT trim, which here in Canada comes with the bigger engine, the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. What was your rationale behind going for that bigger engine?
Yeah, so I mean, the reason I went for the larger engine is honestly, like, that's what the GT came with, I believe. You know, I knew I wanted the more luxurious version.
Yo,
of
if
the
you
car,
ask
so.
me, the engine is the best reason to get a specific trim of the car. Like, again, that's the only thing that matters, man. So
Right.
if you're getting more power, it's always a good sign.
Yeah, and I mean, even though that wasn't why I bought the car, like,
Yeah.
it's not like I haven't noticed the benefits of having it. When you're stuck at a light,
Yeah.
I'm able to kind of like just put it into sport
mode.
and once the light turns
Give it a rip.
green, like, give it a rip.
Give it a
like,
rip. So yeah, so what about the all-wheel drive thing? Like, I remember you saying you specifically wanted all-wheel drive. I mean, we live in Canada, and Ontario especially is just loaded with snow in the winter. So
most of the cars, like comparable cars,
Yep.
didn't all have this all-wheel drive option.
yeah, barely anyone. I think it's only the Mazda3 and the Subaru Impreza that comes with all-wheel drive. That's a good reason to help the Mazda3 stand out, because yeah, I mean, there's not that many people that offer it, and having it in a car that has an experience like this in terms of the luxury feel and the styling, it's just a good all-around package.
So I mean, if someone else was considering this car, I feel like what the selling points would really be is, I do think that when you're in the car, it just feels a little more maybe calm than the other vehicles. Like I said, like, there's not a lot of clutter, which I love. It's probably the most comfortable driving experience compared to the other cars. Those are kind of the most important points to consider when you're buying a car. And then of course you have the other, you know, smaller things like the all-wheel drive option. So if someone is considering it and they live in a snowy area, like, that could be a pretty good selling point. And it's just a zippy, powerful car, right? Like,
yeah.
It really does stand out from other cars in the price point. So it's more like, why not is how I would try to sell it.
Okay, sweet. Well, thank you, Anoop. Thank you for being a guest on the Auto 101.
Oh yeah.
You're our first ever guest feature.
Feels great.
When we pop off, you're gonna get a lot of clout from this feature.
I can feel it.
You can feel it coming.
I can feel it.
Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you found this salad video a little different, a little interesting. We'll catch you next time.